أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون فأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين سبحان الله واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية. O my holy prophet, explain to them the people of the city as a typical example to be punished. Wadrib, Darbun means to beat. Darbar means to explain. Darbar means kind of something. Please brief them on the people of the city. Is Ja'ahal Mursalun, when the apostles came to them. Is Arsalna ilayhim usnayn, and remember the time. The addressee here is Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is always asked to the person who has already aware of the fact. Means before the revelation of this surah, Nabi Kareem ﷺ was fully aware of the incidents happened there. Therefore Allah says, is means uzkur, means remember that time when we sent two persons to them, فَكَذَّبُوهُمَا, and they falsified them, they rejected them. فَعَزَّزْنَا بِثَالِثٍ, so we strengthened them with the third person, with another person, with another apostle. فَقَالُوا, they said, means the people of the city said, the apostle said, Inna ilaykum mursalun, we have been sent to you for your reformation, for your proper guidance. We are to provide you with the proper guidance. Qalu, the people of the city said, Ma antum illa basharun misluna, you are not but a human being like us. Your position is not more than a human being. When you are just equivalent to us, how have you got the right to advise us? وَمَا أَنزَلَ الرَّحْمَنِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ, when Allah did not reveal anything, in أَنْتُمْ إِلَّا تَكْسِبُونَ, you are not but telling a lie. You are fabricating. You are forging the facts. قَالُوا, the apostle said, رَبُّنَا يَعْلَمُ, God is evidence to the fact that we have been sent to you. Allah knows better that we have been sent to you. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ, and our duty is just to explain and communicate the message we have received. Our duty is to communicate the message we have received from Allah and His Apostle. قَالُوا, they said, the people of the city said, Inna tatayyarna bikum, we are arguing an evil omen. Means we are taking you unfortunate. We argue you an evil omen. O-M-E-N, omen, fall. Means we are taking you for an unfortunate person, because on account of your evilness, we have been deprived of the rain. قَالُوا إِنَّا تَطَيَّرْنَا بِكُمْ, they said, we augur you. A-U-G-U-R, mean to take fall. We are taking you for an unfortunate community. لَإِن لَمْ تَنْتَهُوا لَنَرْجُمَنَّكُمْ, if you don't desist, if you don't give up the way, if you mend your ways, لَنَرْجُمَنَّكُمْ, we shall stone you to death. وَلَا يَمَسَّنَّكُمْ مِنَّا عَذَابٌ عَلِيمٌ, and you will receive a very severe punishment, while very severe chastisement on behalf of us. قَالُوا, the apostle said, طَائِرُكُمْ مَعَكُمْ, your unfortunity is with you, not concerning with us, because you have already been deprived of the rain. So this is not because of us, it is because of your bad and evil deeds. قَالُوا طَائِرُكُمْ مَعَكُمْ, they said, your unfortunity is with you. You yourself are unfortunate. إِن ذُكِرْتُمْ, so we are unfortunate just because we advise you to mend your ways. So this is our crime. بَلْ أَنْتُمْ قَوْمٌ مُسْرِفُونَ, but you yourself are transgressing the limits. وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَىٰ. So from the other end of the city, a person came near running. قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ, he said, O my community, اتَّبِعُوا الْمُرْسَلِينَ, follow the apostles. اتَّبِعُوا مَنْ, follow the person who does not ask you any remuneration, any reward, any wages. وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ, and they themselves are properly guided persons. When they are themselves properly guided persons and they are not asking any remuneration, so such a healthy person, when he provides the proper guidance, he should be rewarded. When they are not asking any reward or any award or any remuneration or wages, so they are deserving to be followed.
Subhanallah.
وَمَا لِيَ لَا أَعْبُدُ الَّذِي فَطَرَنِي وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. And what is the reason before me that I should not worship that entity who has created me, and towards him we are going to be returned. أَأَتَّخِذُ مِن دُونِهِ آلِهَةً. So should I take the other for gods? إِن يُرِدْنِ الرَّحْمَنُ بِضُرٍّ, if Allah likes to impose a detriment, a tarshish, لَا تُغْنِي عَنِّي شَفَاعَتُهُمْ. So the recommendation or intercession of these gods cannot protect us and neither can save us from any detriments, any tarshish. Inni izal lafi dhalalim mubin. So if I follow you against the will of my Lord, then I would be believed to have been misled openly. Inni amantu bi rabbikum fasma'un. O prophets, O apostles, you should listen and you should carry the evidence for the court of Allah that I have believed in your Lord, and you should be aware of it. قِيلَ ادْخُلِ الْجَنَّةِ, and it was said, please enter the paradise. قَالَ يَا لَيْتَ قَوْمِي يَعْلَمُونَ. He said, alas, my community should have been able to know what Allah has given me the redemption. وَجَعَلَنِي مِنَ الْمُكْرَمِينَ, and He has inserted me, He has included me, He has enlisted me in the respectable people. So this is the verbal translation along with the idiomatic translation of the passage I recited before you.
Subhanallah.
Here, this story has got a background. When Jesus was advented to the community, He sent two persons to Antioch. That is called Intaqiya in Arabic, and in English that is called Antioch. I-N-T-I-O-C-K. Antioch. Antioch is a city which is believed to be very sacred according to the Christianity. Christian believes that city is very holy city because all of the residents of that city believed in Jesus Christ without any hesitation. But according to our record, it shows that in the beginning they did not believe, but in the beginning they opposed their best and they tried their best to prevent the message of Jesus alayhi salatu wassalam. And the two persons who were sent for the preaching, they were called Sadiq and Saduq, and they were the senior supporters and helper of Hazrat Jesus alayhi salatu wassalam. When they went there, Quran says, فَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلًا أَصْحَابِ الْقَرْيَةِ. What is the coordination of this story with the people of Mecca? Because Surah Yaseen was revealed in Mecca Sharif. So this is a principle that all of the times the addressee should be considered, because according to the demand of the situation and status quo of the addressee, the speech is always brought according to the demand of the addressee. Since the addressee were the Meccan people, therefore it should have been revealed according to the necessity of Meccan people. So Meccan people were fully aware that Muhammad Mustafa was the righteous person. He was a genuine person. And they had seen the miracles of the Holy Prophet. They had seen the splitting of the moon, and they had seen the running of the trees. They have seen floating the stone on the surface of the water, and they have seen the dancing of the mountains beneath Muhammad Mustafa, and they had seen to reciting the Kalma Sharif by the animals and by the insects and by the wolves and by the other inanimate animals, animates and inanimates. Every type of the miracles had been seen by them. Even then they were obstinate, obdurate, and they were very stubborn. They were not going to believe Muhammad Mustafa. But this was a story mostly repeated in their daily meetings. So this is a principle. When you are talking to someone and he is your controversial and you are not believing in a fact, but he is believing in that fact. So his belief can be adduced against him, even if you are not believing those facts as true. For instance, you are not believing in Jesus as God, but the Christian believing him as a God. So when you think that the godliness should be offered in your favor, you can say that the person you have believed him as a God, he has reported about himself, Rasulun ila Bani Israel, Mubashsharun bi Rasuli yati min ba'di ismuhu Ahmad. Your God says that I am giving you the glad tidings who will come after me, and his name is Ahmad. So even if you are not believing in Jesus as a God, but when you are talking towards the Christian, you can refer to this reference. When your God says that I am giving you the glad tidings who is coming after me and his name is Ahmad, why don't you believe in him? You should believe in him. So similarly, when a person admits a fact as a true matter, as a genuine, even if you don't believe in it as a genuine, but you can refer to that fact against your controversial, against your apologetic. Munazir can be called apologetic as well, controversial as well. You can quote the references against your apologetic. Here, the people of Mecca were daily expressing the story that there was an apostle who sent his representatives towards a city, and the people of the city checked their miracles and they found them to be genuine, and after that they did not believe in the authenticity, in the truthfulness, in the genuineness of those apostles. They were chastised by Allah and they were eradicated completely, they were uprooted. So Nabi Karim tries to make them understand that the situation of yours is completely equal to that of those people who has been sent to a city, and the people of the city checked their miracles. Even then they did not believe in those apostles. You have checked my miracles, but you are not believing in genuineness of mine. Therefore you would be treated with the same pattern, with the same volume, with the same qualities, because this story is just can be applied upon you. Yes, I am the person who is showing the miracles, and you are the person not believing in the authenticity of those miracles. So my situation is just like of those persons who went there, and your position is just like those people who are residing there. And the result was declared that the residing people, these citizens, were badly chastised by Allah and they were punished. Therefore you are most likely to be chastised and to be punished by Allah. This is the background of this story. And when those two persons went there, Sadiq and Saduq, and all of a sudden they happened to meet with a person who was grazing his goats in the desert. He said, "Who are you?" They said, "We are apostles of Jesus. We came on behalf of him." He said, "What is the sign of your truthfulness? What is your authenticity? Can I believe you to be genuine man?" They said, "Yeah, you can check us. What do you like what do you like us to show? I am ready to show whatever you like." He said, "My son is really badly ill and he is in serious position. If you cure him and if you save him from the death, so I would believe that you are the genuine person. And really, you were sent by Jesus." They said, "We are ready to go with you. Where is your son?" He said, "My son is my home. He is unable to walk." They went there. They saw him. He was too weak to walk. He was too weak to stand up. They went there. They just touched him.
Subhanallah.
They both touched him. All of a sudden, he was cured. He was just normal. He began to move here and there. He was very happy. And his father said, "These two persons are representative of Jesus. They have come on behalf of Jesus." So I tried them here just to check their authenticity, whether they are authentic person, genuine person, the true person. So they accepted my challenge. I told them that my son is seriously ill and his diseases are incurable. If you cure him, so we shall believe. So I will say, "La ilaha illallah, Isa Ruhullah." And then his son also embraced the religion of Jesus. So both of them became supporters of those two persons. But he requested the two apostles not to tell his story because it was against the contrivance. So they went there and they went from door to door, and they communicated the message on behalf of Jesus. And they told the society that they were the apostles and the representative of Jesus Christ. Jesus, not Christ. Jesus. So the people demanded them the sign of their genuineness. They said, "We are ready to show whatever you like." They said, "Such and such persons is sick." Oh, no problem at all. Let us go there. They went in many houses. They healed. Everybody was cured. And after all, the news was communicated to the king. When they went to the king and they talked to him, that such and such person had come from a remote place and they are very influential person. Wherever they go, they cure the diseased person. He said, "Call them here." They were called here. When they were summoned in the court of king, they went there. They were very bold because they had the connection with a prophet. And by virtue of prophet, they were connected with Allah. They were not going to be afraid of anyone. They went there. He said, "Who are you?" They replied, "We are representative of Jesus." He said, "If you are representative of Jesus, you should be able to do something abnormal in the society." They said, "We are ready to show." They told him that we have got a speciality. We can cure the born blind, the leper. These are our speciality because we are the representative of a prophet who can revive the dead bodies, who can cure the born blind, and who can cure many other diseases by one puff. So since we are spiritual offspring of that prophet, therefore we inherited the property, spiritual property handed down by that prophet. He said, there is a person who are born blind. Can you cure him? He said, we are ready to cure him. Then that person was brought here, and there was no sign of eye. His face was just like his forehead. Even no sign of the eye. They checked him, and they touched the places of eye, and they were massaging at the places of eye. After a short while, the eye socket was repaired there. Eye sockets. Papota, which is called papota in Urdu. In English, eye sockets. Eye sockets were made by the power of Allah. And they made a marble ball. The marble which are used in the plane. The marble was made by them. And they put on the eye socket. And after that, they prayed Allah. So they were changed into real eyes, and he began to see normally, and it was cried out by all of the people that such and such persons have come here who can cure the born blind. And leprosy can be also cured. Leprosy was a disease which was found, which was investigated, which was diagnosed that this is a disease but cannot be cured. This disease was incurable. Then a leper was also called there. When the leper was made sit in front of them, they only touched him. His skin was just normal. And such a miracle was shown by them. Then the king said, such a people should not be freed here in this country, because they will introduce a revolution and the political structure would be disfigured and we would be toppled. Therefore, as a precaution, they should be put in the jail. So this is the solution by the political people about the spiritual persons. Spiritual persons come to reform the society, and they are always afraid about on power, about status. They confine them in the jail. They were put in the prison. And after that, Jesus sent the third person, whose name was Shamun. He was the first person to believe in Jesus. And Shamun was the first person in the community of Moses who believed in Moses for the first time. First person to believe in Moses was also Shamun. And in the supporter of Jesus, the first believer was also Shamun. So thus, he was a very superior person. He was sent by Jesus. He went there to support those two persons who had previously been sent. He went there, but he did not meet with his own companion. He began to work here and there, and his fame was communicated to the king. And he was very familiar with the persons who were courtiers of the king. When he was communicated to the king, he tried to attract the impact of the king. He familiarized himself just to communicate the Islamic message with a good way and successfully. When he went there, he began to sit and stand with the king, and he became his advisor, and he was very close to him. He said, I came to know that two persons are in solitary confinement in the jail. What is their crime? What have they committed? He said, they are communicating the message of a new religion. So he said, so this is not justice to put the people, innocent people, in the jail without any crime. If they are any liability to be put in the jail, then they should be put in the jail. Otherwise, they should not be put in the jail. So this is injustice. It is cruelty. No one should be tyrannized. Then they were released and they were adduced in the court of king. And king wanted to overcome them by means of support of Shamun. When Shamun disguised himself and he came in the city and became the friend of the king, but internally he was supporter of the Sadiq and Suduq. He said, what do you say? They say that we are representative of Jesus. What is the sign of your authenticity? He said, we can cure the born blind. We can cure the leper. We can cure many other diseases. And any other thing? He said, we can revive the dead body because our Prophet can revive the dead body. Revival of dead body is also possible for us. When the Quran says, the revival of the dead body is exclusive right of Allah. But Jesus says, Ukhil mawta bi'iznillah. I can also revive the dead body. And look, they were also in position to revive the dead body. When the supporter of Jesus were in position to revive the dead body, what is the reason to believe that the awliya Allah of Muhammad Mustafa Subhanallah. All of the piety communicated to those communities that were communicated by Hazrat Ali Murtaza Sharif Subhanallah. Then by Imam Hassan, then by Imam Hussain, then by Imam Muhammad Baq, Zainul Abidin, Muhammad Baqir, Imam Jawar Sadiq, Musa Kazim, Sayyid Ali Raza, Imam Taqi, Imam Naqi, Imam Hasan Askari. Then Hazrat Ghawsus Saqalain is promoted on this status, and he will remain on the same status up to the judgment day. Except Imam Mahdi Akhir Zaman, all of the people would be promoted as a pious person, as Waliullah, by means of Hazrat Ali, Hazrat Hadr Qarar and his offspring, and lastly Hazrat Ghawsus Saqalain radiyallahu ta'ala. So it was proved by the express provision of the tradition that the dead bodies were revived by the supporter of Jesus. When the supporter of Jesus can revive the dead body, so the pious people of the Ummah Muhammadiyah are more worthier with a stronger reason to revive the dead bodies. So here they said we can revive the dead body because our Prophet can revive the dead body, we can revive the dead body. Kullu ma yumkinu mu'jizatan lin-nabiyyi yumkinu li-waliyyihi karamatan. Whatever is possible as a miracle for the Prophet, as mu'jiza, the same thing is possible for any waliullah of his followers, with the same pattern, with the same volume, with the same quality, with the name of Kirama. So this is the proof of the fact, which I mostly express in Urdu speeches, that waliullah can do whatever could be done by the Prophet of his community. Subhanallah. So a dead body was adduced in front of them, and it was explained that he had died 7 days ago, but his father was not at home. So just for arrival of his father, we are waiting and not burying him. So now his body is decayed, imputed, and completely rotten, and is going to be decomposed. So if you are in position to revive the dead body, please revive this one. So when they touched the dead body and puffed him, he stood up. He said, I'm here.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah.
He said, according to your ideology, I had been put in the hell. Now I shall advise you to give up the way, to mend your ways, to give up your civilization, your culture, your liturgical activities, because these are involving the hell. You will have to go, you are bound to go to the hell. Only one way is there open to you. You show the penitence for having done wrong and give up the way and mend your ways and practice according to the advisor of Jesus. Otherwise you will have to be put in the hell. He was revived. Then Hazrat Shamun said, people are good. They look to be very nice. They should be followed. Such persons are eligible to be followed. So it is just obstination, stubbornness, obduracy not to believe in these people. the demand of wisdom, the demand of intelligence requires us to follow them. He said, if we follow them, so I will have to surrender the post. I will have to give up the chair. So chair is a very delicious thing. Shamoun said, if you believe truly and give up the previous bad ways and this type of paganism and idolatry and atheism, I shall promise you to be better than the previous life. He recited kalima. He said, La ilaha illallah Isa Ruhullah. When he said, all of the people were very happy, but certain courteous, they said, you did not consult us. It was your duty to take us into your confidence without our consultation, without our counsel. You have embraced a new religion. We are going to wage a mutiny against you. We shall wage a war against you. And we shall try to topple you. So when his chair was being toppled, he wavered. His wavering system started on account of the rank, power and authority. You should check. What a bad thing is that chair. It made so many people believe less. Infidel. He said, oh, I was just joking. I did not embrace the religion of Jesus. I was just joking. He again apostatized. Became murtad. Apostatized. So then they said, لَإِلَّمْ أَنْتَهُ لَنَرْجُمَنَّكُمْ. Quran says, when the king and his community had observed all of the miracles, it was appropriate for them to embrace Islam and to give up the bad ways. But instead, they became stubborn and they waged a war against the truly and holy people. Quran explained that story. وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلًا أَصْحَابَ الْقَرْيَةِ. O my holy prophet, brief them on the people of the city when the apostles came to them, means the apostle of Jesus came to them. إِذْ أَرْسَلْنَا إِلَيْهِمُ اثْنَيْنِ فَكَذَّبُوهُمَا. When we sent two apostles towards them, they falsified them. They rejected them. They did not accept them. فَعَزَّزْنَا بِثَالِثٍ. We sent the third person. Min Shamoun was also sent to support them. فَقَالُوا إِنَّا إِلَيْكُمْ مُرْسَلُونَ. So they said, we have been sent to you. We are representative of Allah on behalf of Jesus. قَالُوا مَا أَنْتُمْ إِلَّا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُنَا. They said, look, they have seen the old sick person of different type of diseases, venereal diseases, epidemic diseases, contagious diseases, infectious diseases. Many types of diseases were cured with one puff, with one touch. So this was enough for their convincement. They should have been convinced. And really, internally they were convinced. But just to reject the holiness of those apostles, they said, Ma antum illa basharum misluna. You should check this taste, that the people who are accustomed to say the Prophet, basharum misluna, even if they see every type of miracles, but yet they say, Ma antum illa basharum misluna. But you should try to know the rate of basharum misluna. What is the number of Surah Taghabun? Surah Taghabun number क्या है? Number का वापस नहीं करना. The counting of para is not subject of scholars. Surah Taghabun. Before Mutafifin or after Mutafifin? Quran says, قَالُوا أَبَشَرٌ يَهْدُونَنَا فَكَفَرُوا. They said, these bashar, the human being like us, can provide us with proper guidance? فَكَفَرُوا. Then they became infidel. Here, Allama Imam Ahmad Sawi Maliki Yamani radiyallahu ta'ala writes in his book Sawi Sharif, he says that this fa is sababiyya, causal fa. It shows the cause. What does it mean? It means shows previous the fa is a cause and after the fa is effect. Cause and effect are inextricably woven together. When they said Bashar for a prophet, when they named a prophet as Bashar, they became infidel. Means their quotation was a cause of being their infidel. Wherever a person says the prophet is Bashar, he will become an infidel. So this is the principle. So the Qadir says.
Subhanallah.
قَالُوا أَبَشَرٌ يَهْدُونَنَا فَكَفَرُوا. They said, the human being will provide us with the proper guidance. Then they became kafir. This fa is sababiyya, is show whatever is before me is a cause, and whatever is after me is an effect. Cause and effect are inextricably woven together. Whenever one say the prophet is Bashar, he himself becomes an infidel, because this is a word of the condemnation, the word of insolence, the word of blasphemy. This is a blasphemy. Whenever and whosoever commits it, he becomes infidel.
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah.
आपकी रिसर्च के मुताबिक ये 30वें पारे में है. Okay. قالوا أبشر يهدوننا. So the whole record of the Holy Quran can be adduced in this very connection, that whosoever was believing in any prophet, he did never say the prophet is Bashar. This is the terminology of the infidels. So we are really very surprised to see the people who are believing in the Holy Prophet, and they are saying that Nabi Kareem ﷺ is just a Bashar like us. Who can be? When the Prophet cannot be equal to Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ, similar to Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ, how is it possible for anyone else to say, I am a human being like Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ? Look, when all of the prophets assembled in Bayt al-Maqdis Sharif, they followed Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ, and Nabi Kareem ﷺ one by one asked all of them to stand on the prayer sheet to lead the Prophet in the prayer. But no one of them was ready to lead the Prophet in the night of ascension. Why? No one was equal to Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ. Therefore he was not ready to stand on the prayer sheet of Imam, and nobody could lead the Prophet in the prayer. Only Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ was in position to lead the people in the prayer. When the Prophet cannot be equal to Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ, who else can be like Muhammad Mustafa ﷺ? Here, this is the verse number 6. فَقَالُوا أَبَشَرٌ يَهْدُونَنَا فَكَفَرُوا. This is Surah Taghabun. Surah Taghabun, number 64, and verse number 6, and says, فَقَالُوا أَبَشَرٌ يَهْدُونَنَا فَكَفَرُوا. And what is the number of Surah Mu'minun? Surah Mu'minun. Subhanallah. Here Quran says, Quran Majid offers the record of those people who have been stated by Quran to have sent the Prophet Bashar. So certain examples are presented before you. Quran says, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ فَقَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَٰهٍ غَيْرُهُ. So we surely sent Noah to his community. He said, "Oh my community, what is the reason before you? You are not believing Allah in addition to, instead of those other lords. فَلَا تَتَّقُونَ, you don't be afraid of Allah. فَقَالَ الْمَلَأُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ قَوْمِهِ مَا هَذَا إِلَّا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ." The people who were not believing in Noah, they said, what said? What did they say? مَا هَذَا إِلَّا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ. So Noah is not but a man like you. What did they say? Internally they were not ready to recite kalima, to believe in him as a prophet. They were not going to embrace his religion. So it means that a person who is really internally determined not to believe in the prophet, he says the prophet is a man like me. This is not a quotation of Siddiq Akbar, Farooq Azam. If Nabi Kareem were a man like us, why did Hazrat Siddiq Akbar not say that Nabi Kareem is just like me? When Siddiq Akbar cannot say Nabi Kareem is a human being like me, who is there to say like that? Farooq Azam cannot say, Usman Ghani cannot say, Hazrat Qarar cannot say. Hazrat Rumi Rahmatullah says, when Bilal Habshi was emancipated by Hazrat Siddiq Akbar, he went to Muhammad Mustafa. He said, Guftama do bandagane kuwe to. Guftama do bandagane kuwe to. Kardamash azad hambar ruwe to. Oh my holy prophet, we both are your slave. He did not say that you are man like me or I am a man like you. Guftama do bandagane kuwe to. Kardamash azad hambar ruwe to. We both are your slave, and I have emancipated him in front of you. Would you please accept my sacrifice, my devotion? What a polite way, what a submissive attitude in front of the Muhammad Mustafa. But here Quran says, Qal al-Mala. Al-Mala is mostly used for the prominent people of the society, meaning the leaders, the authorities, the officers, the landlords, the feudals, the prominent person in the society. They said, Quran says, Qal al-Mala'u alladhina kafaru min qawmihi. Their infidelity was mentioned first, and their quotation was mentioned afterwards. Do you realize, do you check the style of expression, the style of statement? When they were going to say the prophet is a man like us, their infidelity was mentioned first, and their quotation was mentioned first, afterwards. What does it mean? It means that unless the infidelity comes inside of a person, he cannot say that the prophet is like me. First he becomes infidel, then can say the prophet is like me. Understand? What a beautiful time when Siddiq Akbar, who was Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in the aristocracy, the system of government at the time of the Holy Prophet can be called aristocracy. When certain prominent persons of different communities were elected, not elected but selected from the men and majority of the tribes, and they were incorporated in the body of the ruling community. And that system is called Ishrafiya in Urdu, and in English, aristocracy. He was the Chief Justice of Supreme Court in his aristocracy, and Nabi Kareem was a common person of the public when Nabi Kareem announced that he was a prophet. But when he believed him as a prophet, he said, no one can be equal to Muhammad Mustafa. Bilal is also your slave, and I am also your slave. But here the Quran says, the rejecter of no were not normal person. It means that the refusal, the rejection of the Prophet is not a subject of the poor people. This is subject of the prominent persons, the feudals, the leaders, the landlords, the millionaires, etc., etc. So only those people who were very prominent in the society were infidel. They said that this is not but a person like us. Yuridu an yatafaddala alaykum. It means that he tries to be a prominent person. He tries to overtake us. He tries to become conspicuous person in the society. It means that by means of saying, Bashar, you are trying to pull him back. It means that the word of Bashar, invented by the infidels just to degrade for the Prophet. So when a word was enacted just for the degradation of the Prophet, should it be used by the Muslims? No, not at all. Here, Quran says, ثُمَّ أَنْشَأْنَا مِنْ بَعْدِهِمْ قَرْنًا آخَرِينَ. A respective order is going on. Quran says, after Noah, we created the new generations. فَأَرْسَلْنَا فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ. And we sent the prophets from amongst them. What did they say? أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مَا لَكُم مِّنْ إِلَٰهٍ غَيْرُهُ. Means worship Allah, because there is no one else to be worshipped. أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. Don't you be afraid of Allah, who has created you, who has maintained you, who has retained you, who has provided you with every type of necessities. The sky and earth was created by Him for your facilities, and all other things, edible things, were provided by Him to patronize you, and all of the residential facilities were also provided by Him. So why are you leaving Him and worshipping the other who did not do anything? Quran says, وَقَالَ الْمَلَوْ مِنْ قَوْمِهِ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَكَذَّبُوا بِلِقَاءِ الْآخِرَةِ. Here certain more qualities were added here. Quran says, so the people who were very prominent in the society and were infidel and were not believing in the existence of the judgment day, وَأَثْرَفْنَاهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. And we had made them prosperous. They were very prosperous. They were wealthy person. They were well-to-do. What did they say? مَا هَذَا إِلَّا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ. This is not but a man like you. It means that unless one rejects the day of judgment, cannot commit any blasphemy, any insolence, any sacrilege against the Prophet, because when he believes that I am going to be adduced in the court of Allah, and I would be taken to task, and my scrutiny would be held. So he cannot dare. He believes that I am to answer on the judgment day, and this question is not answerable. No one can answer. How can a prophet like the common people? And Allah says, وَأَثْرَفْنَاهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. They were not poor people. You can check all over the world. No poor people is rejecting the dignity of the Prophet. Mostly highly wealthy person, highly wealthy countries, highly wealthy kings, they reject the dignity of the Holy Prophet. It means that this is a legacy handed down by the infidels, and it was inherited by these people, though they are reciting Kalima Sharif, but yet internally they are the same point. Otherwise they should have not rejected the dignity of the Holy Prophet. This is the story of Hud alayhi salatu wasalam. Just after Noah, Hud alayhi salatu wasalam was sent in the area of Yemen, the northern Yemen. And this is the story of Hazrat Hud alayhi salatu wasalam. The wealthy persons of the Hudan community, they said that this is not but a man like us. But what was the cause? The infidelity, the rejection of the judgment day too, and the prosperity They were millionaires, billionaires, and they did not know the boundary and limit of their wealth. This was the reason that they were persuaded to say the contemptible word for the Prophet. Otherwise, Prophet is the most beautiful person to look at,
Subhanallah.
and very sweet person to speak, and very loyal person to behave, and very noble person in respect of fame, and very highly placed person in respect of his lineage, from father, from mother. No one was sent down as a prophet from the low-born family, which means that the Prophet is prominent person, elevated person, and highly dignified person in every respect. He is not a common person in any respect.
Subhanallah.
When a person is highly dignified person in every respect, they were rejected and dishonored by the infidels, the rejecter of the judgment day, and very prosperous. But prosperity, rejection of the judgment day, and infidelity was previous to their quotation. Means those were the interior motive. These were interior motive, persuading that person to commit the blasphemy against the Prophet.
Allah.
So this is a second quotation about the history of Bashar. When a person title the Prophet as being human being like common person, so there must be three motives: infidelity as well, and rejection of the judgment day as well, and the prosperity as well. I did not see, I never came across a poor person rejecting the dignity of the Holy Prophet. When you mention the name of the Holy Prophet, you will say, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But the rich people, they are very proud. They don't kiss their nails. They don't bow down their head. They don't accept properly the dignity of the Holy Prophet. But again Quran says, then we sent Hazrat Moses and his brother Aaron with our signs and the obvious overcoming, prevalence, the overcoming. They were in position to prevail them. Ila Fir'auna wa Mala'ihi, towards Pharaoh and his community. First of all, they attached so much importance to themselves. They became too proud and they were not ready to accept Moses and his brother Harun. And they were very proud people. Pharaoh and his community said, should we believe as prophet in these two persons who are human being like us? So you can easily understand that this is not a Muslim terminology. This is the non-Muslim terminology. It should not be used by the Muslims. Whosoever recites Kalma Sharif should be very careful. If he have said like this in whole of the life, he should show the penitence for having shown the wrong. Quran says, "Qalu anuminu libasharani mislina wa qawmuhuma lana abidun." Should I believe in these two persons as prophets when their community are worshipping us? We are believed to be their God. And is it appropriate on our part to believe in these two persons as prophets? It means that humanity is a cause of rejection. Therefore, it was mentioned by all of the infidels. But the believers say that even if he is in the form of Bashar, but we don't believe him to be Bashar. Bashariyat is his quality, his entity, his reality is not Bashar. The reality of our Prophet is Noor, light, and the quality of Muhammad Mustafa, attribute of Muhammad Mustafa is characteristic of Muhammad Mustafa is humanity. Humanity is not found with the Holy Prophet as entity, as reality, but it is found with Muhammad Mustafa as a quality. This is the difference. Here, it was mentioned that Habib was the person who believed first in that city, and he was also killed, and those persons are also killed. But this is speciality of, what is the time for Isha? So, the time has come now. So only 2 points I am discussing in 2 minutes. Najjar was a person whose speciality was to believe in Muhammad Mustafa before the advent of Muhammad Mustafa. Understand? I mean, Nabi Kareem was not born, but he was believing in Muhammad Mustafa. According to the intimation conveyed to him by the previous prophets, he was believing that the last and final prophet is likely to come, and I recite Kalma Sharif before his arrival.
Subhanallah.
So he is believed to be a Muslim before the arrival of Muhammad Mustafa. And this is also speciality of Muhammad Mustafa, that belief before his creation was acceptable. The belief of Habib Najjar, this was mentioned by Imam Sawi Rahmatullah. Sawi Yamani Malki Rahmatullah. He is commentator on Jalalain Sharif. He has written the commentary on Jalalain Sharif. He writes that this is speciality. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Surprise, as if you are not here. This is speciality of Muhammad Mustafa, that any belief accepted by anyone in the world in connection with Muhammad Mustafa is acceptable. And he would be included in the community of Muhammad Mustafa. This is the first person to believe in Muhammad Mustafa as a prophet before the creation of the Holy Prophet, before the birthday of the Holy Prophet. And the proof? What is the proof? I shall tell you. But firstly, let me tell you the authority for this acceptance. Quran says, وَإِذَا خَذَ اللَّهُ مِيثَاقَ النَّبِيِّينَ لَمَا آتَيْتُكُم مِّن كِتَابٍ وَحِكْمَةٍ ثُمَّ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مُصَدِّقٌ لِّمَا مَعَكُمْ لَتُؤْمِنُنَّ بِهِ وَلَتَنصُرُنَّهُ قَالَ أَقْرَرْتُمْ وَأَخَذْتُمْ عَلَىٰ ذَلِكُمْ إِصْرِي قَالُوا أَقْرَرْنَا قال فشهدوا وأنا معكم من الشاهدين تولى بعد ذلك فأولئك هم الفاسقون غير دين الله يبغون وله أسلم من السماوات والأرض فهم وكرم وإليه يرجعون. سبحان الله. Quran says, وَإِذَا خَذَ اللَّهُ مِيثَاقَ النَّبِيِّينَ لَمَا آتَيْتُكُم مِّن كِتَابٍ. Remember the time when the Prophet was summoned by Allah Rabbul Izzat, and Allah said, لَمَا آتَيْتُكُم مِّن كِتَابٍ وَحِكْمَةٍ. When I give you the book and the wisdom, and مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَكُمْ ثُمَّ جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَكُمْ, then this prophet will come and certify the authenticity and genuineness and originality of all of the prophets. It means that no one can be called a prophet without the certification, without the authenticity, without the attestation of Muhammad Mustafa. So all of the prophets before Muhammad Mustafa, they were attested by Muhammad Mustafa. And who was there to attest Mirza Qadiani? It means that he is without license. He is a criminal person. Because no non-license holder can use the portfolio of the Prophet. The portfolio of Prophet requires the authenticity and attestation by the Holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa. So, لَتُؤْمِنُنَّ بِهِ وَلَتَنْصُرُنَّهُ. Your duty would be to believe in this Prophet Muhammad Mustafa when he was not born. And all of the Prophets were bound by Allah Rabbul Izzat, and their belief was also reserved. And before Nabi Kareem all of the Prophets believed in him. So this is a proof that belief in Muhammad Mustafa was acceptable before the birthday of Muhammad Mustafa. But no other prophet was in such position that such a covenant or such a promise could have been taken about him, that if he comes, you will have to believe him. But no one else was in this position. It means that the position of the Holy Prophet was very prominent in the prophetic community as well.
Sure.
No prophet can claim that he is comparable to Muhammad Mustafa. He is incomparable in the prophetic community as well. When he is incomparable and matchless and unique personality in the prophetic traditions, who is there to be called to be comparable to Muhammad Mustafa? First is Habib Najjar. The second person is Tubba. Tubba was also mentioned here, along with Habib Najjar, by Imam Ahmad Sabi Malki, that he was passing by Madina Tayyiba. मालूम हो रहा है कि उनका गुज़र हुआ, मालूम हो रहा है कि उनका गुज़र हुआ, कलियां चटक रही हैं फ़ज़ा में बहार, मालूम हो रहा है कि उनका गुज़र हुआ, कलियां चटक रही हैं फ़ज़ा में बहार। मालूम हो रहा है कि उनका गुज़र हुआ, कलियां चटक रही हैं फ़ज़ा में बहार। Somebody told him that we are believing that this place is a place where Muhammad Mustafa will migrate to. Then he said, what is the proof? He said, such and such book says, and such Awliya said, and such prophet gave the glad tidings. He said, write down a letter on behalf of me. I am Tubba, the king of the Yemen. No country is preceded by the except Yemen. But you will have to say the Yemen. This is English grammar. The Yemen. You cannot say the England, the Pakistan, but you will have to say the Yemen.
Subhanallah.
From the king of the Yemen, Tubba. And I am your first Muslim.
Allah.
And you should believe that I'm your murid, I am your disciple, I am your companion, I am fully committed to you, I am your devotee, and I shall sacrifice myself and whatever I have. And if I get your time, I shall come here without any hesitation and shall do all of work very promptly as you like. If I pass away before your arrival, please insert me and incorporate me in the list of your disciples. And this letter was left in Madina Tayyiba, and it was preserved by forefather of Ayyub Ansari. When Nabi Karim al-Islam migrated from Mecca to Medina, he came. All of the companions of the Holy Prophet were asking Nabi Karim al-Islam to stay with them, but he was not ready. He said, my duty was ordained by Allah. Look, ordained by Allah. Not only me, but my animals are also connected with Allah. They are not ordered, but they are ordained. But this duty was imposed on my she-camel. She knows where she has gone, where she has to go. So, one after another, she smelt all of the houses. It was wandering to and fro, here and there. Ultimately, it came to the house of Hazrat Ayyub Ansari. When it reached there, it bowed down her head inside of the courtyard and began to smell. And it turned around and come inside and stayed there. Nabi Karim al-Islam said, this is my place.
Allah.
This is the place where Nabi Karim al-Islam's shrine is situated. After the conquest of Mecca, the Meccan people, the other companions of the Holy Prophet, requested to Muhammad Mustafa to go to Mecca Sharif because it was completely emancipated and manumitted, and it was freed. It was quite possible to Muhammad Mustafa or Muhammad Mustafa to go there and stay there. Nabi Karim said, I spent the days of my sorrows and sufferings and pains in the courtyard of Ayyub Ansari. So it is against my loyalty and faithfulness to leave him behind and go back. No, I shall stay here, I shall die here. I will be buried here, I will be resurrected from here, and I will be adduced to the court of Allah, along with Ayyub Ansari, because at the time of calamity and at the time of adversity, he gave me the refuge. When the she-camel sat down, Nabi Karim said, there is a letter for me inside of you. It was mentioned in the Sirat Ibn Hisham. The first book of Sirat is Sirat Ibn Hisham, the most reliable, and it is taught in Medina Tayyiba University, Jami Islamiyya Medina Tayyiba, as a reliable book. It was mentioned there. Then the Nabi Karim said, there is a letter for me inside of Ayyub Ansari. Ayyub Ansari said, there is no letter. Nabi Karim said, there are certain utensils in line. There is a pile of utensils, and the utensil such and such contains the letter. You should go inside, and according to my instructions, you should try to find out the letter. So when it was tried to find out the letter, so they found that there was a letter, but it was moldy. There was a fungus which was covering all of the letters. Nabi Karim said, "Now this is letter for me." Nabi Karim wiped it and cleared it. When it was cleared, the letters were visible and legible. The letter was legible, written by Tubba. Nabi Karim included him in his own community. In this respect, Anbiya ﷺ and Habib Najjar and Tubba were the first person to believe in Nabi Karim as a prophet before the advent of Muhammad Mustafa. Now more than 1 hour I have been speaking in front of you. Inshallah tomorrow evening I shall give you the lecture with the same pattern. I expect you to be present here in a large number, and you would invite the other persons. You are mostly compelling me to be here and give you the lecture in English language. Today I shall try my best to satisfy you, and similarly I shall try my best to satisfy you tomorrow evening as well. And I shall see how many days can I give you. You must make zikrullah, but you will have to shut up the eyes, and any person made the bath with any person will have to visit